the best you can where you are. As you grow and continue to work, it'll evolve to something bigger, because I don't believe in stressing yourself out so that you can have something. I feel like whatever is for you is going to be for you.
Hi, I'm Adrian M. White, and with over a decade of entrepreneurship experience in launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to grow your business online and live a more purpose-filled life doing the work that you most enjoy. Branding Convert is your go-to resource for branding, marketing, and entrepreneurship advice for service-based business owners looking to scale their business to 6 figures a year. This is the Branding Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. Hello, and welcome to Branding Convert with Adrian M. White podcast. This is Adrian. I'm back today for another entrepreneur spotlight. Today, I have the pleasure of bringing to the stage Monty Green. Monty Green is a beauty and lifestyle influencer, full-time diversity and inclusion consultant, published beauty writer, and owner of 3 full-body waxing and sugaring studios. Velvet Wax and Beauty was founded in May 2014 as a full-body waxing and sugaring studio. Today, she owns and operates Velvet, which has a staff of 10, with 2 locations in Alexandria, Virginia, and Newport News, and a mobile truck experience launching this fall. Monty loves to share insights on entrepreneurship, beauty, and social media with aspiring professionals. She holds a BA in Public Relations from Howard University and an MBA from the University of Maryland. As a marketer, she has worked with brands such as Johnson & Johnson, Essence Magazine, and McDonald's. Monty's beauty publications have been seen on Essence.com, Styleblazer.com, and MadameNoir.com. So excited. Welcome, Monty.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good. You have a great introduction voice. I need to use that.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, your bio made it easy. You
Thank
have a
you.
lot of accomplishments. I'm really excited for us to, get right into it and learn more about you and your business and everything that you're up to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. So tell us, how did you get started with entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I think entrepreneurship is in my blood. My mom was a hairstylist for 22 years, and my dad owned a lawn care company. And so I feel like I always grew up watching them in business with somebody.
Uh-huh.
And my mom, unfortunately, she passed away in October 2013. And I was used to being in the hair salon. So when she passed, being in a beauty environment was the way I felt closest to her. And so the year after she passed, I decided to get a cosmetology license. And then I got my first Brazilian, and I was like, oh, I could do this. And then I came
Wait,
back.
you got serviced, or you were teaching, you were doing it to other people?
I actually got my first service,
Okay.
and it was a Brazilian sugaring service. And we could talk about that later. But I was like, wow, this is something different than doing hair. And I always wanted to set myself apart. So I decided that that was my way, that I would have my own beauty business and still be connected with my mom.
I love that. So when did you officially start your own beauty business?
May 2014.
Okay. And what was that experience like just getting into, having your own business for the first time?
I think you don't know what you don't know. And so initially it was confusing for me. It was a little bit overwhelming, but I was never really scared, because starting in beauty, I feel like it's a part of who I am. And
Mhm.
so I felt like I was aligned to my calling, feeling like it's okay to ask questions and being daring and fearless when it comes to trying to figure things out. It's
Mhm.
not something that everybody does, but it's something that I experienced early. And so it's helped me, kind of roll with the punches as the years have gone on.
I know you have 2 locations and you have the mobile business now. So, just brick and mortar in general, like I know that it comes with its own like challenges and strengths and everything with that. What was the process like getting, your first brick and mortar location?
Yeah, so I think that relationships are really important. And as a salon owner, as you know, building a relationship with your beautician is super important. So that same thing would transfer over to real estate. I found my first storefront location because they were lawyers that represented my mom in business. And so when I approached them, they had a lot of respect for my mom. And so they kind of transferred that respect to me. However, I didn't approach them on like a personal do me a favor type of thing. I approached them with my business plan, with a proposal to inhabit their location for 2 months for free because
Mm.
I did all of the renovations myself.
Mhm.
And I proposed a 5-year lease with a early out at a 3-year based on what I felt, was something that I was happy to do. And then I also negotiated the rent. That was something I didn't really know how to do, but YouTube and Google have always held me down. And so that's an example of a time where I didn't really know what to do, but I just Googled it. And I have always been one to do good research before I go into a meeting.
Mhm.
So that's what I did. And that's how I was able to get my first location.
That's incredible. That's incredible. You sounded so prepared with everything.
I just remember recognizing it was downtown Hampton, Virginia at the time, on the
Mhm.
corner from Hampton University. So I was like, this will be great for my business. I have lots of 18 to 22-year-old students right across the bridge.
Mhm.
And then I was like, the rent was low, but all of the building improvements that needed to be made, I felt more than capable to do them. Between HGTV and friends, I felt
Mhm.
like I could have at it. And so I did.
What type of improvements, did they need when you went in there?
So my first place had really ugly gray carpet. It had paneling. It had it had two old bathrooms. It needed paint, it needed lights. And so I did all cosmetic upgrades. So the landlord was responsible for the water, the plumbing, the electric, but I did literally everything else. And that's how I was able to negotiate a low rent.
Mhm.
And, over the years, I was in that location from December 2015 until August 2022. And so for
Wow.
me to be in one location for that many years, my rent only went up time. And
Nice.
I did all of the work myself, but I say it was worth it because times like COVID where, we had to physically close our locations for 4 months and we are a service-based business, that revenue wasn't coming in like it was. So
Yeah.
I was grateful to have been kind of scrappy at the beginning.
Nice. I'm not sure if I shared this with you. And Monty and I we met a few months ago at DC Startup Week. There was like basically a free conference for entrepreneurs
Yeah.
for that week. I only attended like a day or two. How long did you attend? Did you?
The same. Yeah, I I got to be in at the beginning of one day and end
Uh-huh.
of the next day, but I was happy to be around so many like-minded people. And
Yeah.
I never go anywhere without thinking about what's my return on investment. And I invest internally and externally. So I
Mhm.
left with cards, I connected with you, I
Mhm.
felt inspired. And then internally, I felt like, okay, I am doing my due diligence to try and be better, you
Mhm.
know? And so
Yeah.
a win is a win, like they say.
Yeah, definitely was a win. I'm very excited that I got connected to you. And even though I was only at that conference for a day or two, because I had no idea what to expect going into
Uh-huh.
that, like what the format
Yeah,
was going to be and stuff. I do feel like I got a lot out of it too, and
yeah,
definitely
same.
be returning. But I can't remember if I told you or not, but I actually attended Hampton University, so I know a lot about that Hampton Roads area, and it's interesting. How is it with the demographic? Because I feel like in Hampton, Virginia, the downtown area, like I feel like it's kind of like low economic or like low middle economic. So
Mhm.
how was that with having your business kind of in that community?
Yeah, well, number one, I didn't have a choice initially. Well, I did have a choice between cities, right? But I
Hmm.
chose what was convenient for me because I began my business as a bootstrapper, meaning that I had a full time job and I was building my business at night.
Okay.
And since I was a part of that community, I kind of knew how it was. Big on relationships, big on who you know, kind of like a country vibe, like very like, oh, I went to this school. You went to that school? Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna come to you for get my grass cut for the next 50 years. Like that was the same kind of vibe that Hampton had. And
Hmm.
so I kind of just bloomed where I was planted. I did consider Norfolk, Virginia, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Williamsburg, Virginia. And at that time, like I started my business at 24. So I didn't really know much about demographics or household income and the justification of cost
Hmm.
for, a build out. But
Hmm.
what I did know was it would be easy for me to get there every day and that I was the most important part of my business. So I was like, I have to be there. I have to be able to do things or network with people or even do services. So I can't pick something that's going to add an additional roadblock to me pursuing my dream. So
Hmm.
if I were to give somebody advice starting out, like, just be realistic about the resources that you have and do the best you can where you are. And then, as you grow and continue to work, it'll evolve to something bigger because I don't believe in stressing yourself out so that you can have something. I feel like whatever is for you is going to be for you. Yeah.
I love that.
I
Are you?
love Hampton, even though I went to Howard.
I have a like it's all love. Like the Hampton Howard rivalry is so strong, but for me it's all love because I'm from the DC area. So I know,
Hmm.
I was exposed so much to Howard growing up.
Right. We're reversed.
So you are originally from Hampton Roads area?
Yeah. I'm from Newport News and
Okay.
Hampton, Virginia.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So tell me about your journey expanding to like a second location in the DC area, which is like 3 or 4 hours from your first location.
My trajectory is different than most people. I had my mom pass in 2013, and then literally a month after I opened that Hampton location, my dad passed.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
at that point where I was just kind of feeling like a bit overwhelmed with the community because I think it is important to be around a lot of like minded individuals that can see you grow and inspire you. And I wasn't really feeling very inspired after that tragedy.
Mhm.
So I decided to move back to DC. And at the time, I was still waxing and working. And the reason why I was doing that is because I never wanted to go into excessive debt
Mhm.
behind my business. I have different perspectives on debt now, but I needed to learn because I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I moved back to DC in August of 2016. And since then, I've been managing the Hampton slash Newport News location virtually and by monthly or quarterly visits. The transition mainly to my new location happened after COVID. So when COVID happened, April 2020, it was like, oh my God, what is going on? But luckily,
Mhm.
the rent was affordable and I took advantage of all of the federal programs to be able to revise my business plan and really focus on waxing and sugaring as a niche. Because before, I would rent out rooms and I would experience less than optimal interactions from subletters. So I decided, no, I want to be able to control every aspect of my waxing salon. So I can
Mm.
manage the aesthetic, I can manage, the prices, how people are greeted, etc.
Oh, you had like other different artists that were coming into your
Yeah. So
establishment.
my Hampton location had 5 rooms.
Okay.
And so when I first started, I didn't know anything about payroll or employee taxes or how to have employees or anything. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And so I had friends and colleagues who needed space to rent. Everybody didn't have the connections that I had or the vigor to be able to go out and hustle and find the great space I did. So I
Right.
kind of flipped it and rented it as a salon suite.
What type
But
of businesses did they have?
someone was doing hair, another person was doing micro blading for brows, and another person was doing lashes.
Okay.
When COVID happened, it was a blessing in disguise because I got to revise my business plan. I got to revise who I was doing business with. And I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do from now on. We're only doing waxing. We're only doing triggering. This is the motto. This is who I want to hire. These are the standards. And then when I found my next location, very similar to how I did the first time, but I used a commercial broker and I decided to only prioritize certain zip codes based on household income.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what was the strategy behind that?
Well, I always like to walk around and see how things are, right? My first order of business was I wanted street visibility.
Mhm.
But DC and Maryland and Virginia, it's
Mhm.
expensive. And it became very competitive for commercial space late 2020, early 2021. So in 2020, I moved into like an office space and it was doing well, but no one would be able to see us from the street.
Mhm.
So in January of 2022, we moved to a very prominent location in Old Town Alexandria called Crilly Warehouse. And
Nice.
we're on the first floor there. So it's cute. We have a street sign and a sign on the building. And we have two entrances. And there's several other like very well-known restaurants and businesses in that conglomerate. So, it's important to have visibility amongst peers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I will say, like, our even now, my commercial space, it's not an extremely expensive space, and I did manage the build out myself. But again, in my opinion, cost savings at the top are more important to me based on my business strategy because I didn't want to be in so much business debt.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be able to have the flexibility to use that money for marketing, hiring, and retention.
What suggestions do you have for other entrepreneurs that maybe in a similar industry as yours, or maybe not, that are trying to keep their debt down too as they build their business?
Number one, I would say leverage business credit and business financing.
I'm sure you're enjoying this episode, but I wanted to quickly pop in to let you know about how you can grow your service based business to six figures a year today by learning how to better market it online. Join my exclusive membership community, Marketing Maintenance, for as little as $49 a month and learn how to develop and implement effective online marketing strategies that bring in more leads while also keeping your WordPress website protected and up to date. This program includes website updates, site maintenance, monthly marketing trainings, one on one marketing strategy meetings, and marketing deliverable creation. Join today at marketingandmaintenance.com.
Number one, I would say leverage business credit and business financing. Number two, take advantage of any federal grant program or any federal resource you can. In 2020, we had the PPP loans that everybody was
Mhm.
using for stuff other than business, but I used the PPP loan to buy my waxing truck.
Nice.
And yeah, and so now I own a two-room truck that can be an operating salon location. And what that really means is if your average check is let's just say your average days are $2,000 and your truck is on the road 7 days a week, that's 14,000 a week,
Mhm.
28 times, that's 56 a month off of a truck that I bought, all expenses after the fabrication is less than 35,000. So if I didn't pay anybody, like I would make a return investment in 6 months. And I think understanding ROI and the numbers is important when you're thinking about investing and stuff like that because you need to use other people's money and not your own. But also you need to like have a plan so that you can get approved for the business credit or the business loans that you might want.
Mhm. Like a business plan or a marketing plan?
Yeah, I think usually like a marketing plan is included in a business plan. SBA.gov has a business plan template that I used during 2020 to like upgrade my business plan. I think my business plan includes like a marketing piece of it,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't recommend someone use having a perfect business plan or a perfect marketing plan be the reason why you don't launch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that you don't necessarily need a business plan when doing a business. What are your thoughts on that?
So I don't think that everybody has to have a business plan, but you do need to have a plan.
Right.
I think the biggest lesson I learned from, my mom and dad was you want your legacy to go on if you are not there.
Mhm.
And it is important for you to communicate to your team and to your staff your vision, your desires, your standards for your business. And if you don't have a plan, how are they supposed to know, right? I think social media age, like we text or we tweet, we're putting this picture up, but it all needs to fit as a part of a system or a program so other people can align to what you're trying to do. And
Right.
that's why I think plans are important. For example, like when my mom passed, she had done hair for 22 years. I had to close her salon. Her people moved on. I didn't know how to pay the rent. I didn't know how to pay the bills. I didn't know what was going on.
Mhm.
100% of my business can be managed tomorrow virtually if something happened to me today. And I
Wow.
think they wouldn't see me, but I have a little standards be like, make sure you give them a little zest, girl. But I
Mhm.
think that's important, especially if you're talking about something like a beauty business, because it is very easy for your staff or independent contractors to lose sight of the overall vision.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think contractors even more so than staff because a lot of times with contractors, they're working with different, companies too. So,
Yeah. I think that for my contractors, it's very definitive what they're doing at Velvet versus what they're doing outside. I have some ladies that are nurses, some that work at like grocery stores, others that work and like as teachers.
mhm.
And they said, "Oh, I love beauty. I'm really good at waxing. I want to make a couple extra thousand a month. I want a part-time job." But it's not just any part-time job. It's an opportunity for you to build great relationships with clients, for you to get super great tips. Like it's not like you're getting a wax. Think about if you've ever gone to get a wax, usually gratuity is significant, way more than you would get like minimum wage. And
Yeah.
that's in addition to commissions and hourly pay. So I think that I'm lucky in that the level that I pay my contractors and the person that I am and the brand that I've built, I think that people that end up working for me consistently respect and honor like the vision.
Mhm. Love it. So, first question. So, there are a lot of different businesses that are out there that are in the beauty industry, and there are a lot of different businesses that are doing sugaring or doing waxing. How
Mhm.
did you differentiate yourself from some of those other businesses?
My first answer is me. I think every business doesn't have me. I'm just put that out there. That's it. I think that when I started my business, I did a competitive analysis and I had to see what the top competitors were doing. What I noticed is that they were prioritizing speed for comfort.
Hmm.
That's number one. So people, I want to get you out the door fast, but it doesn't matter. It's not done efficiently or if you're not comfortable. So we
Mm.
don't have that model. We prioritize comfort and efficiency. Number two, I wanted it to be affordable. Yesterday I was looking and I saw someone had $100 Brazilian wax. So you mean to tell me I can buy a $5 kit of 5 razors, but I'm going to pay you $100 for you to snatch hair off of my property?
Right. What's so special about their their
And I
service?
and I spend money on beauty. Like I get lashes and lips and
Mhm.
filler and hair done and
Mhm.
nails, toes. It gets expensive, but
Yeah. Me
I
me too.
I yeah, and part of my
Mhm.
competitive analysis, I did a price analysis, and it's important for you to build a system that makes sense to the average consumer, right?
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about like competition.
Yeah, just how are you differentiating yourself from competition that have similar businesses?
Yeah, and I think the thing that really differentiates Velvet Wax and Beauty from the space we're in now is the following. So during COVID, there was a resurgence of independent contractors. So I
Mhm.
don't know if you've noticed all the new salon suites that are popping up. Everybody knows how to do hair. Everybody can do locks or lashes or
Right.
something, but everybody's not booked. Everybody's not working 40 hours a week. It's because their prices are off, their customer service is off, and their standards of how their rooms look. Are they clean? Do they have towels? Are the people always late? Is it in a safe environment? Do they have parking? All of these things create an ecosystem, what a customer would say, all right, this is a reliable business that I want to frequent every single month for the next year. And as an independent contractor, it's really hard to emulate that as one person because it's hard for you to do marketing, social media, pay all the bills, be in a great spot that's affordable, wax or sugar or wax or, or do weave or whatever for 40 hours a week and then still be efficient on all those other things.
Right.
It's hard to do. And so I recognize that I'm a resource to my business and my employees because I do those things for them. So they can focus on being great practitioners and, great salespeople that connect customers with products that they need, but
Mhm.
they don't have to do everything else that I do.
So you have like the really good clinicians, and then you're doing the marketing and everything else for them because it's all under your brand.
Yeah, so I have some clinicians that focus on waxing and sugaring. I
Mhm.
have some that do waxing, sugaring, and training. Others that do waxing, sugaring, lash lifts, brow laminations, and support with social media. And then I have a assistant and a virtual assistant. So my assistant is in the Alexandria location every week. She helps keep things running. If clients are, someone has a rescheduling challenge or a payment challenge or whatever, she supports them. If
Mhm.
we run out of wax, we're not in the studio saying, "Oh my God, we don't have wax. You have to come back tomorrow."
Mhm.
No, I have systems in place to make sure that we are efficient and have the things that we need.
Mhm.
And I say no business is perfect, but the standards of efficiency like that I have is really what sets me apart from the mom and pops. Now, I will say I wouldn't consider myself a corporate business. I think like this year we're hitting the big 300K mark. I'm excited about
Whoop,
that.
whoop. Congrats.
I'm not a $1 billion business yet, and I think I will be. And
Mhm.
so I just trying to make sure I systemize and standardize things.
What do you think contributed to you, hitting your first six figures and really growing the business?
I wish I could look on my payment and look on my square and see when I got 100K, but I think I just hit 100K in 2019.
Okay, so right before
And
the pandemic.
it was either right before or it was during 2020 because 2020 was a great year financially for us because I used the resources to hire and I hired better than I had in the past. And I say that because there are tons of great beauty practitioners, but everybody has a different vision for their life and how they want to work. And it's important as a small business for you to choose those that are in alignment to your vision.
Mhm.
Right. And so I think me hitting the first 100K was picking the right people, having the systems, being consistent, and sticking to what worked. Like I always knew if you have a service based business, you have to have availability. You
Mhm.
don't have availability, you're not going to have people. Now, granted, most of my clients would probably argue that we need more Saturday availability. Absolutely. But at least it exists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like every week you have at least 5 days in advance of Saturday. We can be like, hey, you could have got that Saturday appointment, for example. We have
Mhm.
appointments Monday through Saturday now. But before, if I were just one person, I wouldn't have been able to hit the 100K because I got tired. I started having back issues. I didn't want to go to work. And I was like, well, if I'm not hitting it, I'm not hitting it. So I think me hitting the first 100K was exciting, but it was also directly related to the systems that I implemented.
Mhm.
Then once I started implementing certain systems, I started to duplicate them. And then I paid attention to the things that were working. I rewarded the people and the things that were working by putting more money there, giving them bonuses, etc. And then
Mhm.
I would try to duplicate them. So if I
What do you
had,
mean by duplicating
yeah.
systems?
So Alexandria and my Newport News location, almost identical. The floors are different, but everybody wears the same uniforms. We use the same wax. We use the same sugar. We use the same booking system. We have the same prices. I have the same policies. I use the same hiring model for both. Everybody's
Mhm.
trained the same. I have training standards. I have the same communications. We have one social media presence on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Google. So I was able to like duplicate it. And
Nice.
so for the truck, it looks the same. It's the same booking system. Calendars will vary, people will vary, but it's the baseline that I think has helped people like recognize the standardization as a win.
Yeah, and it seems like it would make your business easier to scale or to franchise because you have all these processes and procedures in place.
Yeah, yeah. And I think like I absolutely the processes and procedures could be more refined. I have a list of 100 things that need to be better right now. I think the point is just making steps every day towards getting things. And then when I learn new things, it's like a pain in my neck. It's like always paining me. And I've been trying to work on reducing the timeline to implementing against those painful things so
Mhm.
that they can help me get better faster.
This was so good. I am shedding a little tear that we have to kind of wrap up, but I would love to hear any final words of advice you have for our audience on how to grow a business or how to better market their businesses.
How to grow a business, I would say write down what your plan is and then consider, duplication, scaling, expansion. And then in the column, write what you have, things that you're good at, and the things you don't have, and the things you're not good at. Because I guarantee you can get those things if you ask for them. So that's my advice for someone looking to grow or scale. And then for someone interested in start, again, write down what you want to start and then try to break it down into 10 actions that you need to do.
Mhm.
Do those 10 actions, and then the next week, make another list. Add to those 10 actions. And then the next week, make another list. Because you can't learn if you don't start. And your business is almost like a person or sometimes maybe like a car. Like once you drive it, then you see like how different gauges work. But if you never drive it, you're just looking at it from the outside. So
Mhm.
I think that's, my advice for someone that's looking to start. And if you're in beauty, come visit Velvet Wax and Beauty. I don't know.
Yes, Monty. So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, how they can visit your studios or,
Yes.
contact you.
Yes. So my business is called Velvet Wax and Beauty.com. So the word Velvet Wax and Beauty.com. We're on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok. We're also on Yelp. We have 2 physical locations, Alexandria, Virginia, and Newport News, Virginia. We'll have another location in another space in Virginia in 2023. And the truck will be available to be booked on our website in early 2023. And you can follow me on Instagram at Monty Green or on TikTok at Monty Green. And that's it.
You just made me think of another question. So the truck, how does the truck work? Like, is this truck going nationwide? And how does the truck and booking, how is that going to
Yeah,
work?
yeah. So sorry, forgive me. I only have 3 more minutes. The Velvet Wax and Beauty truck is going to be a mobile salon. So it has a sink, lights, 2 full wax beds. The rooms are soundproof. So the whole point of why I created it is because I wanted to give those who don't have a solid schedule every day an opportunity to come to one of 6 major locations in the DMV and get waxed or
Mhm.
sugared. So as you know, like, a lot of people are going back to work. A lot of people are still working from home. Traffic, kids going and coming. It's kind of like a challenge. And so we have 6 locations that we're going to be at consistently each month.
Okay.
So if you want to come see Velvet, you can see us in DC on Thursday, for example. Or if you want to see us in Baltimore, you can see us in Baltimore on Sundays.
Mm,
Or if you live near Union Market, you can see us at Union Market
nice.
on
So it's like
Wednesday.
expanded location.
Yeah, because number one, we want to be a part of the community, and I love celebrating other Black-owned businesses in the community. So I've identified lots of friends and partners where there are synergies between our businesses, and there's other places where I just like I know a lot of my clients live here, They
Mhm.
just don't drive. Like, not everybody at Howard has a car, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But everybody wants to be sugared, but there is no Black-owned sugaring company that has more than 2 practitioners in DC. So,
Mhm.
if our truck was parked in front of Howard, those men and women would have the opportunity to visit if they wanted to get a service.
Nice, and you can do events too.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming and allowing me to interview you. I thought this was amazing, and I can't wait for our audience to hear it. And
Me
until next
too.
time.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. You made it to the end. We have more amazing episodes coming up just like this one on the Brand and Convert with Adrian and White podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at brandwithamw and learn more about working with me at brandwithamw.com. People always ask me how I scaled my business to 6 figures per year and now work full-time in my purpose. After a decade of being an entrepreneur and launching 4 successful businesses, I know what it takes to get your service-based business to 6 figures per year quickly. Start booking higher paying clients, automating your processes, and clarifying your messaging in my free training, 5 strategies my clients are using to develop brands, websites, and processes that grow 6-figure businesses. Secure your seat today at training.brandwithamw.com. See you there.